with me. I'll have Denny conduct the meeting.
Purpose of the meeting is to review the budget for the 14-15 fiscal year. We've had a copy of the budget to review, to look at, take notations. At this point, I would open the floor to dialogue as to any part of the budget that you'd like to discuss. And I would like, I'd like you to kind of steer us through this, if you would, please. You're more familiar with it than most.
Sure. Do you want to go line by line, or do you, because we already kind of had one prior get together on this. I was just looking at changes.
Summarize from it.
Yeah. And of course, when you look at the revenue, it doesn't match with what we tentatively put down for expenses. And so the goal was to increase some revenue and reduce some expenses. And looking by line item, I got to the professional services line, and we had budgeted extremely more than normal because of the ongoing talks with sewer and water. And professional services could be legal fees, engineering fees, whatever. But as we're closing the gap with negotiations in other areas, I don't know that we're going to need that much in professional fees. So my suggestion was to reduce that line. And because you see the process of Myers beginning to build, this will be the fiscal year that Myers will open. But not only will that impact our revenue in state revenue sharing because the store itself opens, because the state revenue sharing is actually the sales tax that's spent in our township. So I expect that to go up, but all the construction that's going on, I expect it to go up anyway. They'll be buying their gas probably at the Wesco's and using the microtel and all those types of things that are, you know, because they're working in their area, I expect that that will generate some revenue. So, having said that, in order to balance this budget, I was looking at reducing professional services and increasing revenue at the state revenue sharing line item.
How much?
Well, until you brought me back, I was looking at $50,000 in the revenues that we're going to generate, and we're going to reduce professional services by $44,100. And now I got to recalculate that a little bit because of the $600 difference that was.
You're going to reduce it by 44,000 or to 44,000?
By 44,000. That will give us about 15,000 something in professional services. Looking at last year, what we spent in professional services being legal cost, that would fall in there. I don't know that we need to have any other engineering, because the engineering we used last year was for the firewall and Bridge Street stuff. So I'm saying we don't have any of those projects currently going on. If in fact we do become in the professional line needing more, then we can amend the budget and take it from revenues that we have in the reserve.
So you want to reduce it by 44 what?
44,100.
And which did you increase, Connie?
That state revenue sharing, that's at 225,000.
Okay.
I'm expecting that it will go up, and I'm offsetting that professional services to kind of get that in line.
Okay.
Did you have a figure on that?
Well, I had 49,999, but we're going to have to do that 600, but it's just which direction we're going. And I don't know if anybody looked at all the other line items again, if there's anything else that you want to talk about, I'm good with that. The good news is, Chuck, we're looking at some fire department budget numbers. So.
Yeah, that's good. We were kind of actually doing that on our side too, just to kind of see where we're at, get a game plan for future stuff that's the warehouse.
Yeah. And I think, you know, if we can do a monthly report for you out of the system, otherwise I'll create something in Excel that these are your budget numbers, this is what you've spent, and this is where you're at, what percent are you at, you know, kind of, so you can understand.
So I'm at the target.
There's nothing unexpected on the horizon that you see up there with the organization?
It's just the new truck that we're
Oh, just a $375,000 truck.
That's something that, you know, that,
I understand it, but you also understand our predicament here.
oh,
too.
yeah, yeah, no, I understand everything. There's always something going on. That's pretty much the biggest thing. There's always equipment and supplies, but we tend to try to go for grant money, but sometimes stuff breaks or anything like that, so. Yeah. 350,000, you just don't pull off the shelf.
I think we discussed that. Yeah,
That's what I thought.
yeah, we did.
Becky told me I had to have this tonight.
Yeah, and we need to take $600 from someplace in this expense line that is realistic to take from, but to offset the calculating error, 2014-15 under the trustee line under. That should be 7,200, not 6,600.
You can take that from board meetings. That's what we did with the other one.
That should be 7,200?
Mm-hmm.
Which one? Trustees,
The trustee
on
line.
the first page. That one that I wrote in blue there.
Now, do you anticipate the recycling going down, seeing that we have a different recycler now, and actually, according to Joey's figures, if things stay the same, and of course they never do, but if
They are not the same as they were at the last meeting. I had to talk with her because the one dumpster is not enough to get us through the week.
Okay.
So we are now having two, but we're watching it close to make sure. So right now, I don't see that we're going to be able to lower that any.
Okay. That was my question, because initially we thought we could lower that.
Right. But they were there and dumped it one Wednesday. They came back on Thursday and it was 3/4 full.
Okay.
So we went with two as of this past Monday.
Okay.
And my guess is that it's gonna stay that way rather than going back for
Well,
the summer months.
I expected it to go up in the summer, but not
Right.
this soon.
Mhm. Well, it got to be 80 today.
Yeah, but this was a week and a half ago.
It's 52.
Anybody have any idea what's going on at the outlet?
In regards
There
to,
was a big loader there and two big pieces of heavy equipment there.
could be the county would be my guess, but I don't know.
They
that.
probably, they maybe resolve their differences there and are gonna take the snow fences out, I'm not sure.
Somebody called me, some person that lives in the area called me today and said that there was two big pieces of equipment there and were they gonna move the sand and wasn't there an agreement not to? I said, call the road commission because that would be under their, they would be doing it if anybody was doing
Right.
it, so.
Yeah.
I don't know who the gentleman was that called me, I didn't recognize the voice.
Other than that, the walkway to the lake is installed and all the sand is cleared off. And
Yeah,
the grass is planted and the beach grass is planted and it looks pretty good. Pretty nice.
Porta potties will be there on the 15th.
This budget follows pretty close to the previous budget. We've broken out a few things in the line items that didn't necessarily weren't before.
Right.
Good afternoon, sir.
Right, and as our projects change, the money kind of, last year we had budgeted quite a bit for a fire hall that this year won't be included in this.
Right. Right.
looked like the railing on the fence was there.
Where's that?
Looked like the railing was on the fence today.
At the outlet?
Mhm.
No, it's busted again. Tim's gonna take care of that for us.
Nobody just walks in and gets blamed for it.
Any other questions, comments, additions, subtractions?
Take that 600 out of board meetings.
We can.
Think there's enough cushion there?
I do.
I just suggested to her that we take the 600 out of board meetings and transfer it down to
That's fine.
the trustees. That brings our total down to where it was, 682,900.
Okay.
I think that should take care of it. I don't know if we need to, if you want to read any of this, if everybody has copies.
I think there's copies for anybody that wants one.
Because I think there's quite a few.
Are we going to
lines.
adopt this then at the meeting?
Oh, the
Should be
next
next
meeting.
It'll be
Next
next
meeting.
meeting,
Okay.
because this will be, these things will be inputted, that's a word. Input.
Good work.
Then
Load it up.
revisit.
Any other questions?
I don't think so. In fact, I think everybody did a really good job on this budget, sitting down and going through the line items as we did and getting us this far ahead. Normally we're scrambling. So,
Well, you guys did. John, do you have anything, any questions or additions or anything, any comments? Or? John Anderson? Any questions or look all right?
Where we were at when we worked session.
Okay, okay. Make a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the proposed budget as presented with the adjustments.
No, we're not looking to adopt it yet, John. I think, we're gonna do that next month, correct? I'm just looking to close the
Okay.
budget hearing.
I make a motion to close budget session.
Support. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Right.
Any opposed? Carried. Thank you. We just went through our budget hearing, Tim. That's all we were doing.
Are we gonna wait till 7:30?
Yeah.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there with the freedom of information stuff going on.
I got Myers right now watching the show, so.
Yeah, yeah. Well, with regards to Bar Lake, I emailed Tim and corresponded with him about the problem with the railing being broken. One piece we were able to fix, but another piece is broken again. And he made comment to the lead person at Evermarsh now. I don't remember who that is.
Amy.
Is this hearing closed?
Yes, hearing's closed.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As everybody can tell, the boss is back. I'd like to welcome him back. He's asked me to help him out with the meeting here, so here we go. Motion to approve the minutes of the April 10th, 2014 meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as
I'll second.
presented.
It's been moved, supported that the April 10th, 14 meeting be accepted, placed on file. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Carried. We've received the treasurer's report. What's your wishes?
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented, placed on file.
Support. It's been moved, supported that the treasurer's report be accepted as presented, placed on file. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. None opposed? Carried. Do we have any planning commission meetings?
No, they haven't.
We canceled that meeting.
That's correct, yeah, that's right, you did, yes. No appeals meeting, right, Guy?
That's correct.
You looked at your correspondence in your packet. Any comments on anything? Okay. Anyone with anything to bring, anybody with anything to bring before the board at this time?
I have something.
Okay. Tim, do it please.
Do it right now? Okay. My paper together here. I think as most of you know, the County Board of Commissioners authored a letter that was sent to the governor and several other parties concerning the sewer project and urging a prompt resolution of jurisdictional questions. And I'm assuming everybody here is aware of or seen the letter. Okay. What we have drafted for your consideration, I talked with Denny for a few minutes about this the other day, is a letter. I'll pass this out. Would you like me just to read it to you?
We have copies.
Oh, you have copies?
Yes, we have copies. So, go ahead.
All right. And I'll explain my rationale for who this letter is addressed to the governor, to Dan Wyatt, Director of DEQ, and Bill Schuette, Attorney General. Dear Governor Snyder, Messrs. Wyatt and Schuette, completion of wastewater treatment infrastructure by the Little River Band of Ottawa Indians, LRBOI, for Manistee Township's US 31 commercial corridor is the highest economic development priority of our township and one of, if not the highest in Manistee County. We are deeply concerned that jurisdictional issues be resolved as soon as possible so that LRBOI can proceed with this historically significant investment. With the onset of site development by the Meyer Corporation at the intersection of US 31 and M55 and the 250 jobs it will create, including 50 full-time jobs, business interest in this corridor is happening now, and we need to have the capacity to convert this interest into development, jobs, and tax-based growth. This is in addition to the benefits, public cost savings, and elimination of public health threats that the sewer would accomplish with regard to the county interests within this corridor. The intergovernmental cooperation that has been the catalyst for this project is unprecedented and is clearly consistent with your goals, emerging policy, and investments. As reflected in the correspondence you received from the Manistee County Board of Commissioners, the partners in this project worked for over 1.5 years to develop this cooperative arrangement. We trust and believe that you are striving to support and partner with us in the spirit of cooperation that has characterized this project by developing a solution or compromise that will enable construction of the sewer infrastructure by LRBOI this calendar year. If this matter cannot be resolved at the end of May, we would like to convene a meeting in Lansing with you and our partners to determine how we can resolve this matter in the same spirit of partnership that has been the hallmark of this initiative. And I threw my name in here, but you can throw anyone's in if you'd like. We've asked Tim Irvin, a facilitator for this project, representative of the AES and Manistee County Community Foundation, to coordinate and communicate with you and other partners to arrange such a session if required. He can be reached at phone number, email address. We truly appreciate your efforts toward expeditiously resolving this matter so that this critically important job creation project can proceed. On May 8, 2014, all members of our Township Board unanimously supported sending this letter to you. And I've carbon copied Larry Romanelli, Senators Levin and Stabenow, State Senator Boer, Representative France, Bill Rustum, who actually I met with in Lansing, who's the Director of Strategy for the Governor, Robert Maberto, who you all know, Jim Goodhart, who's with MDEQ. He works for the Director's Office, and he is actually the coordination focal point in MDEQ for this. Ken Hilliard, Tom Kaminsky, and Mitch Deach.
I have, this is just a short notice. I feel that the township isn't just sitting on their hands and they want to aggressively pursue this. Now, Connie and John are the two people that have been involved in this right from day one, and they put all the time and effort into this thing. I would look for comments from them to see what.
Absolutely.
Has there been any repercussions from the state at all since the county sent their letter?
They're all positive. I think the repercussions are all good in that the DEQ and the AG are very actively talking about resolving this matter. I spent some time in Lansing talking to some folks about this, And I've had some follow-up discussions with Jim Goodhart, who is the DEQ coordinator. I personally feel it would be really good for the township to be right on record about this.
Absolutely.
And I think the timing is right to do that. What I have been told, and I have no reason to think otherwise, is that they are, in fact, trying to find a solution or a workable compromise. This is an issue that they haven't tackled before.
What is that issue?
It's jurisdictional. It's whether the DEQ has regulatory/permit authority or not.
Sovereign.
Yeah.
Well, Robert Umberto and John Anderson both told us that they have done, not with as many entities as this is involving, but done this in different areas with EPA jurisdiction rather than DEQ.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be able to respond to the nuances of the law,
Well,
but they, you know, they did talk to me about that, and you know, the point they raised, the reason I've carboned Senators Levin and Stabenow on this is that they have not been involved in the matter to date, and I think they need to be informed because of the federal government. But in Michigan, the state has long ago assumed authority for administering the Federal Clean Water Act, and so they have delegated authority to do so. How it works with the tribe, I can't respond to that. But they definitely have got some issues to sort out. They are actively meeting and talking about this. When I went down to Lansing, like everybody I bumped into knew about it, which was a good thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think that is good is that they said very candidly to me, we all want this to happen. So I think the challenge is finding a way. But I think it would be great to have the township on board and to carry yet another message to Lansing. And, you know, I don't know if the end of May is reasonable or not, but, you know.
Have a lot of
We'll
time.
find out.
yeah.
And in here, you know, saying to convene a meeting in Lansing, and because it's coming from the township, I'm not sure who exactly would go to that meeting to facilitate, you know, to make this move along
Yep.
or give our opinion or whatever. And I don't know, a legal representation, but I would hope that the township has some say as to who sits at the table.
Oh,
Because,
absolutely. You could all go as far as that's concerned.
well, I mean, in the township, but you have all these other people,
Yeah.
you know, I
Yeah, since this is your letter, you would, you know, decide who represents the township. The carbon copies are simply intended to keep everybody informed that you have taken a position on this. So,
Well, the people that would attend a meeting like that would be the people that are first, and then you, John, and Guy.
yeah, that would make good sense. Robert, I did talk to Robert. I haven't shared this letter with him, Robert Lamberto, but he is aware and thought it was a great idea for the township to take a position. So,
Push it forward. Send it down.
Well, Joy's put it on the township letterhead, worded exactly as presented. And we'll get it signed and get it on its way. If there's no, do we need a motion to send this forward?
Got a check on there too?
yeah, that's a good point.
Which is the third federal.
Yeah, we should have done a check on there. Yeah. One thing that we would be happy to do if you would like, if you are going to go ahead and sign the letter, is we can help with dissemination to all these folks, if that would be useful to you.
Sure.
So, okay.
Do we need to add Doc to that?
I might add too, I mentioned it to Guy, that we are, good, well, it's good news, and maybe you are as well, but we have some commercial interests that have pledged us secrecy, but are very interested in the corridor and actively looking.
Yes.
I can't hear to start with what you just mentioned to Tim.
I mentioned,
Does anything go to the EPA in regards to this? Has anything went, or should it go?
What I would recommend is this, that we work a lot, in particular with Levin and Stabenhouse office. What I would recommend is that when we give this letter to them, which if you sign it tonight, I will actually give them hand deliver it, because I'm going to be up in Traverse tomorrow. I'll hand deliver it to their offices. I'll meet with them at the same, we know them very well. I would ask them on your behalf to intervene with EPA.
Yeah.
Have John sign it?
Is that it?
Do we have one with our letterhead on it?
Yep.
And if I can just have a copy tonight, I'll get things going.
I move we send this correspondence to the individuals as mentioned on the letter, as well as Dan Benishek's office. And authorize him to take that with him wherever he goes, to hand it to whoever he can that would help.
A second.
I'll support most of that.
You can't support most of it.
It's been moved and supported that the letter be forwarded as presented. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, carried. Thank you, Tim. Thank you and your office for your efforts.
You have
Thanks
signed this.
again.
You're under sincere. You want the other signatures or just John's?
I think one signature will do it.
Okay.
In fact, if you don't mind, I'll just take that letter and I'll get you copies.
I have copies. I mean,
Oh, do you?
these copies you gave us, and I've got,
I just
oh,
need
with the
I just need to
signature.
sign one. And I'll go start distributing it right now.
most of it, or?
You got a copy machine in there.
Do I know how to work it? Okay.
I think it's on.
Anyone else to bring anything before the board?
Yeah. Well, me and Tim here both have we've got an issue with a neighbor and basically dogs barking, and we've tried the sheriff's department, we've tried the dog catcher to have them come out and try to resolve the issue, and getting loose, running around, and they basically said that we need to come to you because there's nothing they can do. So because of the times is between 7 and 11 that the dogs bark, the noise ordinance doesn't, I guess, obtain to that, where it's frustrating. It's nonstop all day long. And it's the point where something's got to get done.
You can't even hold a conversation with somebody in our backyard. I mean, it's just 6 dogs at the fence, just constantly barking if somebody's outside. So this has been going on for years, basically.
Jim, this is the original. Did you want to?
I'll take a copy. Yeah, that'll be good.
Guy, do we have anything to that effect?
No, they called me today, and I suggested they come to the meeting and talk to the board tonight, because our ordinance says the quiet time is from 11 at night till 7 in the morning. And this is happening all day long, whenever anybody's outdoors, the way I understand it.
And I would call after 11 or at midnight, but by the time I call and the sheriff's deputy gets out there, he's in them back inside. So
Can I ask where you fellas are at? Where is this located?
on Lake Shore, just past the greenhouses.
Okay.
Paul the Money is our neighbor. He lives on one side of him, I live on the other.
Okay.
Over the past 3 years, there's been, before I got my fence up, there's been multiple incidents. The dogs have bit people. It's been documented by the sheriff's department. Multiple times the dog run all over. Mr. The Money's paid fines. He sat in jail over it. It's been a big to-do. And now that there's fences up, now it's just a matter of the dogs aren't getting out so much anymore. It's a fact that, I mean, you can't hear yourself think in our backyards. It's just,
ridiculous. Just walking out to my truck to get in it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got little kids, I got little kids, and you're outside playing for 3 hours in the afternoon, and it's just constant, just barking, just all the time.
What kind of dogs are they?
4 border collies, a husky, and a Yorkie.
Plenty.
Yeah.
What do we do there?
Well, I mean, we could modify the noise ordinance. You know, we could have the planning commission look at it. But other than that, I mean, we don't have any other way to enforce noise other than the ordinance we had passed at this point.
Well, if you modify the ordinance, that takes a considerable amount of time, correct?
It'll take a month or so, yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably closer to 2 months at least.
Now, the zoning ordinance itself has, the noise ordinance is a police power township ordinance. The zoning ordinance has a noise section in the general, what is it? The general section, general rules section. And it talks about 60 decibels at the property line. Can't exceed that. But we have no way to measure it or record it, or I found that today. But, so I'm not sure how that would help unless we could somehow document the fact that it exceeds that.
And how do you do that? You go out and rent a piece of equipment or instrument or something?
Or an engineering firm to do the study, yeah. I mean, we could hire somebody who has that, like Gavin Marsh or somebody.
Or borrow or rent.
Or borrow or rent, yeah.
See,
Then it would be a zoning
I
violation.
understand the fellow's problem, but if we do that here now, then we're opening up a whole can of worms in regards to, we could possibly wind up doing this at several locations.
Well, I remember we did this once for some complaints up on, in the industrial district up on Pikers Road.
Condon Road too.
That's where we established our noise ordinance, Dennis, I believe, was on Pine Creek Road.
Okay.
That was with Elmer's and the paving, the noise from the asphalt plant. Now Condon Road, John, I remember that also. That might have been when we established an ordinance where we wound up with quiet time, if you will. I don't recall the hours, 11 to
11 to
6,
7 in the morning.
11 to 7.
Yeah.
I guess the sad part is it comes down to somebody controlling their animals to the point where, they don't, have enough sense to know that they shouldn't be doing that. But in this case, we've been down every path possible to try to resolve this before coming here. But, I mean, if you cannot go outside and have a conversation with somebody in front of my garage or in my front yard without having dogs barking continuously, it gets very frustrating. And if you want to experience it, just stop by my house or his.
Yeah, come on by anytime.
And you'll see what we're talking about.
It's not just one, you're talking about 6 dogs just right there. It's, this has been going on for years, basically. We're kind of at the end of it here, what to do.
All right, let's research the avenues as to what can be done. Guy, you and I can work together on this and see what can be done. Obviously we can't, nothing's gonna be done overnight, but we'll pursue something, Okay. Anyone else? We got our new county commissioners here, Mr. Dotz.
Yeah, welcome back. Well, let me give you just a quick, brief overview of our last commission meeting. Dennis, I think you were there for most of it, or was that the previous?
Previous.
Okay. Well, we had an audit. The audit we had for the county for the past year was turned out very good for the most part, but the one point of concern is we got about $9.5 million of unfunded MERS retirement pension. So working on trying to get something in place to handle that over the next 15 to 20 years. It's not uncommon of what we have, but it's ongoing. But that was the biggest point of concern for me, and I think probably the majority of everybody else on the board is that with the audit. But other than that, the audit we had was exceptionally good. We had an equalization report for the year. Equalization went up about 1% for the year, so our current equalized value for the county is $1.15 billion. And as due to that, it's appeared that the bottoming out of the real estate has happened for the equalization. It's been going down for the last 5, as I've been told. Elaine Woods came before us with the Northwest Michigan Council of Governments and gave us their annual report, along with Dave Adams, from Bear Lake, who's been their chair for many years. And very good report again. You get 2% of the resources for the Northwest Michigan Council of Governments for the job Michigan Works, and you get 4% of the return out of that 2%. So they're getting, as far as the dollars and cents go for the state, they're getting a pretty good bang for their buck compared to some of the other areas. Had a Cent team report for the year also, the annual report. And the numbers have increased a lot, and the question I posed to them on that is what was causing that. And they had a new hire working for the city police department who is very aggressive. So, you know, the more people you have on staff, the more things you can find. And the marijuana tended to be a little bit higher this year than previous years. Let me see, a couple other things that just have arisen it's no big deal, but at least just a point to let you know is the sheriff, as of June 30th, they've had an agreement working with Filer Township Fire Department with their first team, which is First Incident Support Team. He's going to discontinue that relationship at the moment because there's been the continuity has not been there for the personnel. You know, it's been a kind of a revolving door. So anyways, Dale wanted to pull back on that for a while. Also, the Sheriff's Department's going to be getting 4 new cars, you know, which is nothing new. It's kind of a revolving plan that we put in place many years from back when I was on the board. And we're also working on a county strategic plan, which starting to get a little intensive on the meeting schedule for that. And from what they tell us, is for a county our size, this is somewhat unique. You know, we'll see what we do with it. You know, could be, hopefully it's time well spent. And we're also in negotiations for the county union employees, for the courthouse, and also the library. And that basically covers most of the high points that I've got at the moment. You folks have anything of points of concern other than the sewer project?
Anybody? Anything for the county commissioner? Thank you, Jeff. Zoning administrator?
Let's see, I had 8 receipts in the office this month. 4 of them were land divisions. One was the Metro Act telecommunications permit, and the Meyer permit was one. So, no complaints until I got the call, no written complaints until I got the call from these gentlemen here about the dogs. What else? I attended the Bar Lake Improvement Board meeting on Monday this week, and they're going to do the new survey of the aquatic species, invasive species, on June 10th. We've delayed that meeting till the 16th. so that the report will be in and we can see the report for the next meeting. Decide how to spray. We did allocate funds to spray the invasive weeds this year. So,
And is that what the assessment or the basis for the special assessment district is now, is to fund that spraying guy?
yeah, it's to pay back the county for the study, the technical report, and the spraying both. Yeah. And the permit from the DEQ to do the spraying.
Okay. Because I guess I thought that it was a recommendation of the board to the Bar Lake Board to not stop, but pull back on the reins so that this isn't going as quickly as it had taken off last fall or early winter.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a lot of questions or controversy over different aspects of it.
Yeah, as to whether the petition was proper and things like that.
Right.
Well, we, I think, determined that it was and moved ahead.
Okay.
Although we haven't decided to fund the study for lake level yet, because we don't have the money.
Okay.
And we won't have it, and I think, Connie, you were telling me that's going to go on the winter tax roll, so we won't have the money until February anyway. So it'll be next season.
Anything else, Guy?
Nothing else? That's it.
Thank you, sir. Chuck, you have a fire department report?
I sure do. For the month of April, we had 5 related fire runs, 20 medical. We had 3 station trainings, 1 other training that was up at Bear Lake, 1 department meeting, and 40 burn permits for the month of April. Those were ones that were in our township. They had numerous calls from out of our township and out of our county even, so I'm still trying to educate people on that. For a total of personnel hours of 318, I had 44 hours, and the other officers had about 62 hours, which came to about 424 hours. Under apparatus, we briefly talked about the new fire truck in the budget. Still working on that. The current trucks, getting some minor repairs. 131 did need a charger replaced on it. I think there's a bill up there for that. He had checked the brakes also, and the air horn relay was bad. And there's a leaking master drain on that also. So we'll be looking at that here in the next week or so. Need some attention. 132 needed a valve replaced. Dan Revolt replaced that for us. But there's another valve prior to that that needs to be looked at. And the fellow that's going to look at 131 for us, he'll look at 132 also. All the trucks will be getting a DOT inspection and some other minor repairs. Like 137, the brush truck needs a dead man switch. Doesn't have one, so sometimes it runs dead, so we leave something out. Under station, we've done some small upgrades to it, housekeeping things like Jimmy Edmondson had built the rolling workbench, the exhausted for the grill. Gus Storm built the gear rack for the storage in the upper storage room. That's something that we're starting to work on and try and get that organized. Jerry Zupin donated a nice stainless steel sink, and Jimmy Edmondson and Brian Forbes completed the installation on it. And then we added a flat screen TV, a large dry erase board, and a 7-inch projector screen that was donated by the Council on Aging into the training and meeting room. The next thing we're kind of looking at is a little cabinet area, cupboards out there by the refrigerator to store stuff in. Under equipment, we did the 50/50 grant. We've got about 75% of those items ordered and on their way. Revenue sharing grant, we've got about 40% of that equipment ordered. I still have to order some more by next month. SCBA cylinders, there are about 8 of them going in for hydrostatic testing. They should have left today or tomorrow. And we're still recruiting, no new applicants at this time under personnel. Training, we're still working on proficiency on all the apparatus. Can't stress that enough. And 3 of our folks are still attending the Firefighter 1 and 2 class. They'll be done at the end of this month, and I'm sure they'll be happy because they put in over 240 hours by the time at the end of this month, so from January. They usually been going Tuesdays, Thursdays, and every other Saturdays. They're actually training on our station tonight. Under administrative, we put in for another revenue sharing grant. We also put in for a grant for the fireworks money through the state. That was through the association, and that was for that training facility with the shipping containers. We put in for $5,000. They accepted it on terms that we got money from revenue sharing, so we talked to them. We're going to resubmit it for the total, so we'll hear more about that hopefully soon. No word on the FEMA grant for the smoke detector campaign that we'd like to do. No word from the FEMA grant on the SCBA's yet, so no news is good news in that department from what I've been told. If you don't hear anything, it's supposedly you're still in the running. So we're working on some pre-incident planning, and also with the county with the CWPP, which is the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. And then a special note to folks out there that support the fire department, and we'll be assisting with the tight lines for troops on the 17th of May. And on behalf of the firefighters from Manistee Township, June 9th at 7 p.m. at our business meeting, we'd like to invite the township board and their spouse to our dinner and business meeting, so you can kind of come see the station, see what's going on, meet the folks, the newer firefighters that are there, stuff like that. So,
What time's that start?
7 p.m. on June 9th. Yes?
I heard positive things about the training that's been ongoing, and good comments about it.
Thank you. Frank?
Getting the trucks out there and running them like
Right.
we used to years ago.
Yep. You just gotta, sometimes you gotta give people a little nudge.
Getting back in the,
Yeah. It's critical that we do, so.
There's a lot of activity going on around that park all the time.
there is.
Every time Danny stops by, we're doing something.
Well,
That's all I had.
along with the fire department, Mike Zimmerman completed the venting,
Yep.
the ridge vent on top of the building. So the building is complete now.
I need to ask you on the 50/50 grant, like the revenue sharing, I'm sure you have to report and show what you spent. Are you doing that? Is that something that you want me to do?
Actually, I was keeping track of that. At the 50/50 grant, anything over 2,500, I had to get 3 quotes. It was kind of interesting that I did, because I got one, I got 2 more, and they're about $900 cheaper, so it worked out. But I'll try to keep all that separate. All the money we put out for it, gotta keep it organized. I'll work with you. I'll make sure you get copies of it for sure. Yes.
Chuck, fire permits, I think you said you had 40 of them, Manistee Township, we know, or get a permit from either Dan or Dan.
Yep. Normally Dan Lieski handles it, but he's out of town.
Correct.
Folks call call here at the Township Hall, because normally someone's here, and then they've been directed to Dan Lieski. So most people are getting his number, so they call him all the time. But when folks look on the website, or they call the number,
You get the state, then, don't you?
you get the state, but if you look at the website, it shows all the other townships, and it shows for Manistee Township and Filer that you call the number. And the number's correct on there, but for Dan, but somehow everybody just thinks they just want to call somebody, I guess. So I've had people call from Benzie County, and I actually had somebody call from Kalkaska one time, so he tells them he can't issue him a permit, and tells them to check over it. But with that though, with the burn permit, the number on the website is still Judy's number, so.
So we call Hall for a burn permit.
Correct, because the number might have changed. Dan Lieski was doing it, now Dan Rebold's doing it for a couple weeks for us. And that's the beauty of it, because we don't have the issue of people calling the same number if something happens. So that's what we've been trying to educate people on. So if there's a change, someone's out of town, they're not getting calls.
So does the website need to be changed? Is that what you're getting at?
Yes, it still has.
Our new website, we're working at having that. She's coming in tomorrow to
Yes,
upgrade it.
that changed within 2
Put
weeks.
it on, so the old one will be taken off.
Yeah.
All the numbers are wrong.
That was, yeah, 'cause I think she's still getting calls. That's not cool.
They've been supposed to call here for the last year.
Well, I know if you go to the website, that number's still there, so
I
I don't
know.
think just shut the website off until
I've
the
been
other's done.
after her, and she's finally coming in tomorrow morning at 10 to
Okay,
work with me to,
at least get that off there.
you know.
No, that's the subject we're on, but the website evidently has our trash day on Sunday, May 11th.
Well, that's what it was last year. So the website, you know, we haven't been able to do anything to maintenance the old one for over a year. And the new one's all set to go.
Anything else for Chuck? Thank you, sir. Thank your personnel.
Yep.
20 medical runs, that's,
Huge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably 90% of our call volume.
there's no Oaks prison report, is there, Troy?
You had a copy of the minutes. I didn't get those. I made a copy.
What about the,
Oh, I skipped the liquor inspector, but there's no significant changes. Still tastes good. There was a report from the Oaks? Chuck?
Yeah, I
Okay,
got
yeah, that came to me.
okay.
Community Liaison Committee. Thursday, April 10th, in the Warden's Conference Room. There's a new warden, and apparently she never sent out, the other ones never sent out minutes, but John got this. He wasn't even there.
Minutes from her, I think.
Did it? And,
Just like this, they're already two or three lines.
the question was asked how many prisoners come back to prison after being released. The following is the most current statistics available in reference to recidivism. Approximately 31.5% in Michigan has the 7th lowest rate in the nation, the lowest in the Great Lakes region, and well below the national average of 43.3%. Then there's, where did we tell us? 1,111 prisoners. I haven't said the same that. She wants to have meetings, she likes doing that, but I think it's still going to be quarterly.
Okay, thank you. The Revenue Sharing Board will meet the 9th of June at 5 p.m. here at the Manistee Township Hall, and at that time they will grant award grants to recipients. I'm not sure exactly how many are going to be happy, how many are going to be disappointed, but the money is a little scarce. But Cycle 1 2014 will be issued the 9th of June at 5 p.m. The Bar Lake Improvement Board, is there anything to add other than what you've already done?
No.
Okay, we went over, we reviewed the budget. Second item under unfinished business is the Myers project. Is there an update on the Myers project?
We started construction. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I issued that permit on a Tuesday, and the next morning they were cutting trees, on Wednesday, so.
I stopped and talked to the site manager this afternoon, and seemed like a pretty decent guy. He'll be staying, I guess, in town on his boat, so he'll be around for a year.
That's coming up next.
He said he had a couple neighbors come over and talk to him. They seem fine so far. So.
Okay. Item number 3 under unfinished business is a brownfield resolution. I believe we have a representative here for that.
Yep, I'd be happy to speak to that item. I'm Mac McClellan. I'm the consultant for the Manistee County Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. With me today is Travis Klaus with Eastwood Construction, the prospective purchaser of the Kennedy School. And what you have before you today is a request for a resolution of concurrence with the brownfield plan. I'm glad I provided some nap time reading for everyone. Take a look at that. But we made a presentation to you last month kind of outlining the project, and this is the official document as required by state legislation that's there. But essentially this provides an opportunity to take care of some of the asbestos that's in the building and do some selective demolition. to recover those costs and get this back on the tax rolls and provide a redevelopment opportunity for a senior assisted living facility, investing about $2.25 million and creating 15 to 25 jobs and having between 25 and 35 units, senior assisted living units, kind of a need within the community. The consideration before you is a resolution of concurrence, which is required by state legislation. With your concurrence, this will go to the Brownfield Authority on the 14th and to the County Board for public hearing and their consideration on the 20th.
Is there a resolution in here? Matt?
I didn't see one in here.
Oh goodness, I thought I said it separately.
Got
With
two things.
the information.
We actually have three things here, Matt. We have three different documents here, sir. Not meaning a resolution.
Yeah, I apologize. I thought that I had passed along the resolution to George. That must be my mistake. I have a resolution, a copy of resolution that the county would consider, and I can actually read it if that would work. I apologize for that. Sorry for sure.
Well, I don't know how anyone else feels, and I certainly am speaking out of school because I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, but it may be such a thing that you could leave that resolution with us. We could address the subject and get a motion to pass the resolution provided it's clear to our legal counsel.
That would be great.
How would that work?
And I apologize for the mix-up there. Yes,
No.
that would be wonderful. A motion to adopt the resolution.
Fine, because we want to sign it until legal counsel looked at it anyway, so nothing's lost.
Can we get a copy of the resolution?
I just have the one for the Brownfield Authority with me. A copy.
That's what you want?
It's actually a different one, but
Oh.
I'll be able to send it to Joy first.
Okay.
I've had trouble getting different things on it,
Oh.
like, so.
Yeah, that may have
It may have got-
been the issue there, so I'll
yeah.
double check, so I
Mhm.
apologize for that. But yeah, that would be great if you could pass a motion and passing the resolution contingent upon review. That would be
That
fantastic.
would suffice, that wouldn't hold up.
No, that would be fantastic.
Is there a motion to that effect?
Did you make a motion?
No, I say, is there a motion to
Oh.
that effect?
I'll support your motion.
All right, I'll make a motion that the,
That way was here.
Contingent upon township attorney's approval of the resolution.
There is one opportunity that the commissioner just said, I can copy off a copy and get it to you if you want to hold the table the motion for a moment. I can work
well,
out.
we're gonna do it, we're gonna have our legal counsel review
Right.
it.
Okay, very good.
So,
Very good.
You do have Wi-Fi here, though, correct? Yes, he wants a supervisor, so.
What?
That's fine, we'll get it to you in the morning.
I'm just saying,
Keep
if
it today.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, if you wanted it tonight, you could literally have it. You could put it on your letterhead and.
Well, it's gonna get to.
It has to be reviewed anyhow.
Yep.
So I made a motion that we adopt the resolution presented by the Brownfield Development Authority,
Redevelopment Authority.
subject to approval by the legal counsel.
I'll support that.
It's been moved and supported that we adopt the Brownfield resolution. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Thanks for your
Thank you very
time.
much, I'll take care of that.
Maybe I'll be able to go full circle. I went to grade school there. And,
Get a reservation in. Perfect. All right, thank you all very much.
That'll be a full circle, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is the Board of Determination on May 22nd at 7 p.m. here at the Manistee Township Hall. The Drain Commissioner and his Board of Determination is going to hold a meeting. I don't know what his legal phrase is. If you saw the posting in the paper, and there's a posting on the wall, or on the door out here as well. This is with regards to the McGinnis Cromer drain. and the enlarging of the, wait a minute, this just says the McGinnis drain.
Isn't it?
Okay, well, then the board of determination will be with regards to the McGinnis drain. There's been a lot of controversy about that drain. We've watched the drain all spring. So it would be my advice to you, if you're in that drainage district or the proposed expanded drainage district, to attend that meeting and get your questions answered. This board has no authority over the actions of the drain commissioner. We can strongly suggest, but that's the extent of it.
Neither do any of the other county officials. Our neighbors to the south of us here in Stronach Township have not been real pleased with the results and actions of our drain commission office.
Anything else on that subject? Under new business, Mark, Sally, what's Mark's last name? I'm sorry, I keep.
Solden.
Solden.
S-O-H-L-D-E-N.
Mark Solden has, along with the Northwest Michigan Council of Governments, have submitted to the Michigan Department of Transportation a application for an MDOT small urban program to resurface Dodds Cot Road. Well,
Doesn't mean it's happening.
no, but it's there's some money out there that I'm really, I can't tell you maybe Sally can address all the ins and outs of this program, but it's money out there from the MDOT to resurface projects like that. The total cost, or the total estimated cost for the project is $500,000 with a $125,000 match.
And it's next season, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Not this summer.
So keep your fingers crossed. Maybe something will happen. Anything else on the new business? If not, you've had a chance to take a look at the bills. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to allow the bills paid as presented and placed on file.
I support.
It's been moved, supported that the bills be accepted and placed on file as presented. All in favor? Aye. None opposed? The Manistee County MTA meeting is Wednesday, May 28th, 6 p.m. at the Bear Lake Methodist Church.
It's the annual dinner meeting.
Annual dinner.
You have to make reservations also, don't you?
By the 14th.
The Manistee Township Planning Commission's regular meeting will be Thursday, June 5th, here at 7 p.m. If there's an appeal, that'll be May 6th.
June 3rd.
June 3rd. The next regular meeting of the Manistee Township Board will be Thursday, June 12th, 2014, here at 7:30. Bar Lake Improvement Board will meet Monday, June 2nd.
We changed that to the 16th.
We did. That's at 7 p.m. Any other comment? The only comment I've had is it's good to see John back here. Wish him well in his recovery. Motion's in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved, supported, we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Not opposed? Thank you very much.